Now, look, I'm going to go into this in greater detail in the future, but basically, your top 100 suburbs from the report I'm going off here, and this isn't only this report. You can actually go into CoreLogic. You can get prop value, prop track. You can go to almost any site, and you'll find over the last 30 or so, or even more years, if you really want to go deeper, you'll find that Melbourne, Sydney are your top performers, and Brisbane's also sprinkled throughout that as well. You have some suburbs of Perth in there too. Now, as you can see in this actual just blurb here, Melbourne actually dominated the highest capital growth suburbs. So Melbourne, of your top 100 suburbs in the Aussie Home Loans 25-year report, actually had 41 entrants, which is incredible. Sydney had 25. Now, without question, let's go to what I know are the prime locations and the best locations to buy in Australia. Now, without question, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane are your top areas to buy in Australia. Now, Sydney, you're talking about areas such as the lower North Shore, very, very strong capital growth over the long term, very good income demographics over the long term. The eastern suburbs is another one, and the inner west is also another one. So as you could see in probably the demographics map earlier in the video, look, it's just an exceptional area to buy. You've also got the lower end of the Northern Beaches that has performed exceptionally well, and you'll see this later in this video. In Melbourne, we're talking about the inner city. Now, in the inner city, I particularly mean the Yarra Council region has performed exceptionally well. The inner east, the inner south, and southeast. So we're talking about areas towards Albert Park, out towards Brighton, and areas around Surrey Hills, Box Hill, that kind of area. Old money areas, let's say. And you've got also your inner west of Melbourne. So it's your gentrifying regions, sort of close to Footscray, your Maribyrnong council regions, especially in Hobson's Bay, that kind of way. Some of those councils have performed just exceptionally well as well. For those who have cheaper budgets in mind, an actual area that's performed very well over the long term too, believe it or not, is actually Newcastle and Wollongong perform very well, and also Geelong and Melbourne. So look, you've got, suburbs of, under $1 million, right down to about $450,000 at the moment, that have actually performed literally more than 7% for more than 50 years, and I can trace that back quite well. But either way, let's go to some other locations too. Now, I'm not leaving out all locations in Australia here because that's just a little bit naive. But look, what I will say is there is some other parts of other cities. So look, the Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast do have some very good regions. There's about 5 to 8 suburbs in both of them that I'd say are quite good areas to buy. The issue with those areas is the economy just isn't fundamentally backed by your, fundamentally strong industries. Like a Gold Coast, for example, is backed a lot by tourism, not by medical, not by finance, banking, or anything like that. Look, Perth as well. Perth, you do have look, Perth, the interesting thing about Perth is it's so specific to the regions that you buy in, and you'll see that later in this video about exactly what I'm talking about there, because you've got quite a lot of land development that's happening in Perth, and it does, whilst it's not a mining town, a lot of the economy is backed by mining, and it does have issues there. So you want to be near areas where there are actually fundamentally strong industries, and I hate to say it, but you want to actually be near where all the jobs are. So that's just the truth of it. Hobart's also got a couple of suburbs now. Hobart's a little bit more of a difficult one to get data on, simply because Hobart, the data, especially from CoreLogic, it hasn't actually been there for as long as some other suburbs, but there is about 8 to 10 suburbs in Hobart that are worth buying, and you can buy right down there to, I'd say, around that $550,000, $600,000 mark, which is still worth buying in. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel, and if you're looking to purchase a property in Australia's best performing suburbs, be sure to reach out via www.compoundinvest.com.au. The details are below. Thanks again, and welcome to the channel. I'll see you on the next one.